is LJ Weekly Housing Market Update. And this meeting is for our LJ Realty team. A lot of you guys will be watching this, the recorded version. So if you guys have any questions after that, just shoot me a message or an email and we'll take it from there. This is the last meeting for 2023. So we're going to give you a couple of updates here. Okay. So let's get started with our interest rates. Good morning, Rupinder. So we're gonna get started with our interest rates. According to Freddie Mac, they were averaging around 6.67 for your 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Very similar to what we're seeing on daily mortgage daily news here, 6.67. So this was last week, and this is what we're seeing as of this morning. So you can see that they're very similar, and we want it around this for a little bit. We don't want the interest rates to start dropping dramatically. It's going to be a slow wave, and hopefully it's in a positive right way, and we're going to tell you why in a little bit. Okay. But if you have a client that's going to go with the FHA loan, then they can go with 6.12 or even lower, depending on their credit scores, their factors, or higher, depending on their factors too. Okay. So, what does that mean for affordability? This is an example that we want to use here. That's one our agent asked us earlier today. So, I wanted to give you guys an example. If someone's making $100,000, this could be a one person or it could be, a husband and wife, as long as their household income is $100,000 and they have around $60,000 in down payment, they're already taking care of their monthly debt, right? So they don't have much there, but only $100 per monthly debt. Does this mean that this means that maybe they have credit cards that's $2,000 and their only monthly obligation, monthly minimum payments is around 70, $80. So you can say, their monthly debt is around 100. There are some clients who make a lot of money, but their monthly debt is so much that their affordability kills. So your monthly debt matters a lot. Okay. And we're going to use today's interest rates of 6.67 as average. And let's say this property taxes for this property were around $8,000. Okay. This is a very realistic uh, scenario here because one of our agents asked this, and this person wanted to go with FHA loan. For FHA loan now, this husband and wife, they can purchase a house for $620,000. Do we recommend them to go up to 620? No, because they're going to be around 54%. So if you want some wiggle room, if whatever maximum price that you're qualifying for, you should go for a little bit less. So you at least have some sort of room for your DTI. There are loans that have difficult closing because their DTI is too high. Then the underwriter and the loan officers have to work in a way where they can reduce some fees so they can be below this 54% DTI. But our agent asked, hey, what's the maximum this person can go for? Is 620. Right away, we say, hey, you should go for a little bit less than that so you have some wiggle room. And the next biggest question that they have is that for this 620, even they're making $100,000, are they comfortable paying this $4,400 monthly? And sometimes the answer is no. If that answer is no for this 54, forget about this 620. You want to be lower than that. Maybe 580, 585, 590. So this monthly payment can reduce. So don't just assume that maybe as a realtor, you have a property, in Valley Stream, Elmont, or anything like that, and it's listed for 620, and your client does qualify. Just make sure that there can be some issues later down the line when they're really starting off at the highest point. You don't want that. A lot of people, even people who can afford $1 million house, they just simply say, hey, I don't want to pay that monthly payment to be $8,000. I want lower and lower. Then your purchase price should be lower. Another scenario that we want to tell you about, one of our clients went with the non-QM. Truly, we felt like, he can purchase around 600, $700,000. He ended up buying $900,000 property, right? With non-QM, no income docs, right? With no income check loan. It was doable. We closed it, but the monthly payment is pretty high and he's renting that out. So you got to talk to your clients and see what their scenarios are. Okay. But the buying power, Overall is increasing. When we see your interest rates dropping, your buying power is increasing. Again, if you want $1 million house, maybe you do have 100 or $200,000 for your down payment, and your loan amount is going to be $800,000. At today's interest rate, your monthly PNI will be around $5,100. But look at the buying power, right? Just within about 2 months now. This person before, maybe the loan amount was 742, and now they can purchase up to $800,000. Nothing else changes, right? Their income didn't change, their down payment didn't change, their monthly obligation didn't change. The only thing that changed over the last 2 months was your interest rates dropping. Okay, so your buying power is definitely increasing as soon as your interest rates are dropping. Next, let's talk about some stats here. These are some stats for new residential sales, right? This is for our agents or any agents out there that think that, hey, there's not enough properties on the market. Hey, there's not enough, there's not enough buyers. There's not enough, sellers. These are all the naysayers, right? You're basically saying, hey, I don't want to do this, or I cannot close more deals because there's not enough out there. But look at new houses sold, almost 600,000, right? New houses for sale around 451. Medium sales price around 434. We know that in Queens and Long Island, our prices are a little bit higher. But just know whatever inventory is out there, even in 2023, right? There are still people buying and selling. You have to think positive and you have to say, hey, there's enough buyers out there. Let me go grab some. You don't need hundreds of them. You just need few of them. Okay. And this is new residential construction as of November 2023. These are building permits. These are not buildings that's already built, but these are, maybe it's just a land and people are, the investors will be building a house on that, right? In the near future. So, how many are there? Around 1.4 million permits. That's a lot. And there's 1.5 million that's housing that's already started, and how many completed? 1.4. So you can see that the next release is going to be on January 18. Again, the process, if you are licensed and you're a realtor, there's enough people who are, starting, as as investors, right? And they already have properties that's maybe never completed, but they're just getting started. You want to see if you can talk to them. If there's a investor that's experienced, that's flipping houses left and right, you want to be part of that too. But just know that there's enough business out there. You just got to go and grab it. Okay. Next, let's look at your residential vacancies and home ownership, right? This was for the third quarter for 2023. That rental vacancy is around 6.6%. And it's very, normal to see that percentage here. And, when you have a landlord that says, hey, I'm going to have my house vacant or apartment vacant next month, can you help me? Your answer should be yes, right? And we can get these places rented out fairly quickly, unless your landlord is asking for $300 or $400 more than your market price. But just know that the vacancy rate is pretty low, and your homeowner's vacancy rate is less than 1%. Which homeowner that that's paying a mortgage and is not going to live there, right? You see 99% of the time they're living there, right? And home ownership rate is 66% compared to renting. So it's a great percentage, and overall it will increase, but it's a very solid number when it comes to home ownership rate. And if you are a realtor and if you have not bought your house, if you're renting out, you should be making a goal that even if I can do it in the first stages of 2024, maybe towards the end of 2024, that you want to own a house, right? Know your loan options through us or elsewhere and start saving up for your down payment. Fix your credit scores. If you're not a homeowner, your goal should be that I want to be part of the 66%. Okay. And this is a similar chart here for vacancy here. Okay. Next is your news. You have to think positive in 2024. The Realtors Confidence Index for November, that it was lowered throughout 2023. We have seen it with our agents. We have seen it with other agents. Even when I speak to other agents from different brokerages, similar conversation. Hey, the inventories was super low. The interest rates are super high. Right? Two things that really tells our clients to hold on. Maybe it's not the right time to buy. Okay, but these numbers will change, so your confidence should change. Okay, these are some headlines here. Fed holds rates steady, indicates three cuts. You should remember this. This is the headline. This was about a week ago now. And every client that you're talking to, you should be having this conversation with them. Hey, the government is not increasing interest rates anymore, and they're going to be cutting in the next year. How many times? Hopefully, they're telling us three times. Hopefully, they do it for three or more times, right? Second headlines does the same thing. Why are they doing this? You should tell them because the inflation is coming to the control, right? They're trying to control the inflation and it's coming towards that. We are around 3%. Their goal is around 2%. We was the highest we hit around 9%. So they know how they have the right tools to control this inflation and they're doing that. Who's doing that? That's the Fed. That's the government. And 2023 was tough. 2023 or 24 should be much easier for you to decide as a homeowner that, hey, I want to purchase a house now, right? Your home prices growth slows, right? We're fine with that. We don't want to see, our home prices increase 10,000, 20,000, $50,000. It's already high. We just need more inventory out there. Okay? But it should keep rising in 2024. What do you think is going to happen when we have more buyers that's qualifying for the same property? The prices will increase. There's no doubt about that. But how much, we really don't know. Okay. Then there's more headlines here too that October home prices posted biggest gain in 2023, even though we saw just a hint in October, November, and now in December that the interest rates are coming down. The home prices is going to start increasing for sure. And you can see all these headlines relate to that. And this is a good one here too, that home buyers always respond to lower interest rates, says NARS, our, Lawrence Yun. Most of our posts that we quote them from that. So, the homeowners, as soon as the interest rates are coming down, they will respond, right? They want to be part of the market. Maybe they were holding on for a year, 2 years, 3 years. God, knows how long they've been holding on, but maybe they will be making their move in 2024. Okay. Next, we want to send our condolences to Tom Cooper's family here. He was a realtor. This was a sudden death happening just a day ago. Worked for Douglas Elliman. He was a broker, and apparently, so far what we know that he jumped from the fourth floor in New York City here. We don't know the full facts. We just want to send out condolences to him and his family. We know when we look at some our realtors, especially on Instagram, when we look at these flashy lifestyle of different agents or brokers or wannabes, just don't judge them. We really don't know what's going on in their real life, right? So if you're one of those, you're trying to be flashy, no need to. Just be real with you, real with your family. We really don't know what's going on each other's mind, but you might think that this person is doing great, and it might be the quite opposite. Okay. Next is for another case here, real estate fraud, found guilty in mortgage scam. So this was a realtor that was doing some schemes with the mortgage side. The point here is to let you guys know that maybe on one of the deals you really want to close this deal, you see a good commission on it, and you're thinking for yourself, right? All these things will lead you to fraud. If you're doing fraud today, you might not get caught today. It might take you years for the Fed or the government to get to you, but once they do, they will make sure that your life is miserable. So the best thing to do is avoid any type of fraud. Just, anytime you're iffy about it, just don't do it. If you have to question yourself two or three times, just don't do it. Okay, do the right thing. Even if the deals falls through, so what? There's more clients out there. You don't want to worry about just one client, you have one license and you want to use that for multiple people. not just one client. Okay. A couple of other headlines here, guys. Um, Rates fall to 6.67, what we just mentioned here. FHA and VA loans, so some delinquencies rise in November, right? There are some loans, there are some hardships throughout United States, right? Someone can be doing great, as we just mentioned, and all of a sudden things start looking south, right? And they cannot make their payments for their loans. You, as a realtor, should help them out. Your first approach should be, hey, let's see if we can do a short sale, right? I know you lost your job. I know you have some sort of, health issues. I know this or that. Whatever their scenario is a true hardship, right? They cannot make their mortgage payments. You want to tell them, hey, you owe the bank $500,000. We feel like the house is worth maybe, less than that. Let's see if we can negotiate, right? And see if the seller or your bank will allow us to do a short sale where even though you owe them $585,000, and we want to settle that for less than that. So you want to, as a realtor, you want to help them out. Okay. Then your existing home sales up for the first time in 5 months. Again, good news. Why? Lower interest rates. Okay. And this is a very important one here, guys. Value of realtors is a hot topic in wake of legal action, right? So we know there's a legal action lawsuit going on. Should the buyer's agent get paid from the listing side or not? Just work on yourself as a realtor, what value you're bringing to the client, and why should they pay you any amount, right? Let alone that you guys want to ask for the higher end or the lower end. Why would anyone pay you any amount? You need to know those reasons inside out, so this way when you're talking to them, you're confident that, hey, I'm going to give you, I want to get you the house, I'm going to do this for you, but I need to get paid. Okay. If I get paid from the other side, I might not charge you. If I'm not getting paid, I need to get paid. So whatever that conversation is, have a top-notch, a presentation for yourself so you can actually bring some value to your clients. Okay. Next, guys, when is the right time to buy a house? Right? Where this is the hottest question that anybody or all clients that sort of really want to purchase in the near future is asking. And as a realtor, they're going to be asking you this all the time. And I'm pretty sure these guys are already doing this. Okay. So you want to tell them, buy now and escape the madness. There will be madness. We know that with lower interest rate, there will be more buyers out there. Being able to get into the door and buy a house that you want before it's kind of revert into some sort of madness we have seen in the past terms. And you can mention when we say busy market, COVID time. Hey, the government dropped their interest rate all the way to zero. So the mortgage rates were around 2%, 3%. And you remember all those lines? We are not expecting those type of interest rates anytime soon unless we get a pandemic or something. But as long as the interest rates are dropping, more and more buyers are coming to the market. So if you like your house, make your moves and let me help you out as a realtor and get this property. Okay. And for their monthly mortgage payment, we're giving an example. If someone wants to buy a $1.25 million house at 7.5 monthly pricing, your interest is around $7,000. With 6.5, that drops around $700, right? So again, we mentioned that some clients are more comfortable making that decision when they see their monthly payment is going down. It's no brainer. Okay, we're probably we're probably where the rates have come down to enough that more buyers are coming back to the marketplace, right? And the prices have certainly not gone up, right? Again, same thing. Why is it a good time to buy it now? Because the prices will go up. Tell them whatever property it is, and maybe you want to. This is how I used to do it. It was like, hey, you like this house, you want to put in an offer, but for some reason you are not ready yet, or you just want to see what this sells for. Just wait a few months, and you're gonna see that. And when you see these, you comparing this particular house to the other ones, you're gonna see the prices go up just because there's more buyers now. Okay. And now this is a good time to contact for sale by owners as well. Last time, I believe Rupinder mentioned a couple of good things for sale by owners, right? Actually calling them, connecting with them. This is a great time to do it, right? Tell them, hey, when there's more inventory out there, what's going to happen to your property, Mr. Seller, right? You're going to be competing with other homeowners. So right now the inventory is super low. You don't want everybody else in the neighborhood start putting their property in the market, and you're going to be, competing. So why not compete less now with less homeowners and list it for the right price? Okay, some of them will simply wait. That's perfectly fine if you cannot convince them, but just give them the reason why they should buy right now, and you want to mention the things that we mentioned here. Okay. One of our guys here asked for a living room and a family room. What was the difference here? So you guys can see that if it's a family room, it's usually casual, it's a personal space, usually back of the house, usually has a TV, it's closer to the kitchen. Compared to a living room, it's more formal, closer to the front of the house, and is often larger. Okay, not a big difference here, but some people do put it as a family room compared to a living room. Okay. Next, guys, we want to talk about your website. Your website is pretty powerful. Some of you guys are using it very efficiently, and some of you guys are not. So we want you to just browse it, browse through your website, spend maybe 5, 10 minutes on it and see what it has to offer. So if I'm doing a search, if I want about to search, if I don't even type in anything, if I just click on this menu, it will give us the top county that's near us. We have Suffolk, Nassau, Queens here, Westchester. So if I just want to click on county, right? I can see all the properties that's on the market right here. On top of that, you can see what's open, where they're hosting open houses this weekend. You can see in Queens, there's going to be around 175 houses that's going to be hosting open houses, right? Again, if you're the listing agent, you want to put it on MLS that you're going to be hosting open houses earlier in the week. Do not wait until the last minute because people are searching on Zillow and elsewhere and seeing when there's open houses. And maybe they're making a list. Hey, we're gonna go see this 170 at 2 o'clock, and then make a list of those. You want to be on that list, so host your open houses way before you're hosting it, at least 5 days before. Okay. So again, it doesn't give you just open house. It will tell you, hey, there's 2,500 houses or properties that reduce their prices. Why they're doing this, right? You want to find out what was it listed for, how much did it reduce by. So do your research. Same thing in Queens here. You can see there's 102 foreclosure properties. You want to know which those properties are. Okay. So your website is very powerful. You just got to do the search. You just don't need to put in an address, but you can do searches by county. Okay. Next, guys, we want to talk about some auctions listings here. This was in Valley Stream, Elmont and Valley Stream here. When we're going to these auctions, right? These auctions are not selling for a great bargain. Those are just keeping it realistic with you guys because end of the day, we're competing and we're competing is a bidding war with who is going to be with the other investors. So you can see here that this property in Elmont sold for 535 and this one sold for 628. And there's some people who actually go to the auction to purchase the property for themselves. So even though that is not to be an investor that's going to be flipping the house, this person is going to be living there. As long as they can get a little bit better deal than the market price, they'll go for it. But because of the bidding war, the prices they tend to go up even on the last minute, and the bidding is very quick there. So if you have not gone to any of the auctions in 2023, and we have begged you guys to do it for a long time now, get the habit of doing it. You don't know what kind of connections you'll build from there that'll make you a better realtor, right? We're not just talking about LJ here. We're talking about you as an individual being a real estate agent, holding your license. How could you bring more value to these investors by going to these auctions, right? It is time consuming. It is sometimes you go there with a list with 10 houses and none of them are on the market, on the auction, and they've been delayed for some reason. Is it is a headache, but at the same time, you want to be part of those. You never know when you're going to find a solid lead and make good commission on it. Okay. Talking about foreclosures, this is a new property, fully vacant, probably needs a lot of work here. Just came on the market yesterday. This is in Elmont, listed for $400,000, right? The taxes are around $11,000 here, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Square feet is around 1,300 square feet, which is fine. So it should be a good flip. So I just want to ask one of you guys here, if if someone is buying it for $400,000, what do you think the renovation cost will be in Elmont for single family? Anyone, just throw out a number. Purchasing it for 500,000, 400,000. Yeah, Rupinder? Mm-hmm. So I would start with around 100,000, right? I would say $100,000 is a good number. 70,000 is a great, also a good start. Some people would start at 30,000, 40,000. Those are the ones I say, no, that's too low. You cannot do much renovations these days with $30,000 unless you're just touching up a couple of things. But if you need a new kitchen, new bathroom, new this and that, basement, that $30,000 is not, is way too low. 70 is a good number, but around $100,000. So let's say to your investor, hey, Mr. Investor, we're getting this property for $400,000. Let's put in another $100,000 for the renovations. But if you can get it done in 70,000, the investor can say, hey, I can get it done in 70,000. Great. You're making 30 more thousand dollars, Mr. Investor. So that's good for you. So $400,000, 500,000, $100,000 on top. So you and locked in at $500,000. Then you have your closing costs to purchase, closing costs to sell. So put in $50,000. You have 550, right? You have 550. What do you think this property should sell for, guys? Anyone? After it's renovated, how much should the property sell for? He's in locked in for 550. Come on, we all realtors. This is an Elmont, single family, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, fully renovated, 1,300 square feet. Okay, 650. That's exactly what's on my mind. If we can sell it for 670, 699, again, is more better for your investor. But as a realtor, these are the numbers, these are the conversation you want to have. We're purchasing it for 400,000. We're spending $100,000 for the renovations. We're including your closing costs to buy and sell. That's $50,000. We locked in at 550, and now we want to make you $100,000. So let's sell it for 650, 660, 670, 680. Any of those numbers are good as a listing, right? So that's the conversation we want you guys to have in 2024. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Anything on your mind? All right, guys. Next is that we want every one of you guys, especially if you have a listing, to have your own open houses or open house signs, right? You want to have at least 3 or 4 signs for yourself. So this way, they don't go bad, they don't expire, they last a long time if you have the steady good ones, right? So you want to have at least 3 or 4 of them. So I spoke with Anand. He's the guy who makes these signs. His shop is called A1 Signs. This is his phone number, his email, and this is the pickup address, 12021 101 Avenue. Right? Great guy, does a majority of our printing for many, many years. He said around 75, he said $75 for each. So I'm trying to find out if we agent were to get 3 or 4 of them, what's the best he can do. I'll disclose that on the next meeting. But for now, for individual is $75, right? Just for one sign. It's double sided, obviously with the design and everything. Our office assistant here, Sukman, she has your Canva to do the design for this open house sign, right? If you want to include your photos, you can do that. your phone number big and bold. You want to do that because the company one that we have is simply, it just has the company information, doesn't have your personal information. So you want to design it in a way where someone is looking, they know, hey, this is a Sclaren sign, this is an MP sign, and I know that this is going to be the listing agent, right? So being that listing agent, you want to have these signs on you at all times, so we don't have to worry about collecting it from you. We know that it's really hard to bring it back, take it back. So the best thing to do in 2024 as a listing agent, get your own signs, right? If you want to get them from Amazon or any other websites, we have no issues with, right? As long as you have them. If you want to get that design, we can do it for free. There's no charges, but we can send you with your photo and everything. The point is that you actually get these signs next year. Okay. All right, guys. Next, I want to talk about is how secure is your commission check. We're going through a real example of one of our agent here, and we want to talk to you about that, so none of you guys fall for that, right? So, a listing agent just decide to not pay you at the closing table, or reduce the commission at the closing? It took you maybe that particular client to show them maybe 2 months or 4 months or 6 months to show them that particular property, right? Because you showed them a million other properties before that. You under contract, you did the whole 9 yards. Now the closing time comes, and I say, hey, they're asking for a commission invoice, or they're not even asking you for a commission invoice. You got a problem, right? That commission invoice that you need at the closing, we as an office, we create that for you. Sukman or I, we can do it for you guys, but we just need to know that. If they're not asking you, your attorneys or the buyer's attorneys is not asking you for a commission invoice at the closing table, that means maybe your name is not on the contract, or the company name is not on the contract, or they have no idea that you're actually representing the buyer. Or if you thought that you were getting paid, let's just give you example, 2%, and all of a sudden you find out you're getting paid 1%, we got a big problem, right? So how are we going to secure that, right? And when it comes to security, we need docs, right? We want to make sure that. So to this agent, when I asked her, hey, what kind of proof you have that you're the listing agent or you're the buyer's agent? Nothing. Where did you see that this guy promised, the listing agent promised you 2% instead of 1%, even though the list MLS says 1%, right? Nothing. Hey, it was on the phone. Anytime we're having a conversation with any listing agent or any party out there, if it's verbal, it means nothing. It literally means nothing, right? It's, it has, like, there's no way to prove that unless you're recording that conversation, and you cannot record it without their authorization. So the best thing to do is to go and fill out the forms that are needed. As a realtor, you should be very comfortable filling out these forms. If you're not, you should be coming to me and saying, hey, I need help with this. Teach me this one time so I don't have to do this. I don't have to come back to you, but I can repeat and make sure I get paid the full amount at the closing table, right? There's no arguments. The reason I'm giving you this example was that at the final walkthrough, they had to call the cops. If the cops are getting involved at a final walkthrough, we got a big problem, right? So you need signed docs, right? Which docs we need? We need offer letter. When it comes to offer letter, this particular example here, when our agent wanted to put in an offer, the listing agent says, no, just tell me verbally and I'm going to put in an offer from my offer letter. Don't you think that's a red flag? She did not even mention anything about agency disclosures, right? Had no idea about co-brokerage agreement. These are the things that we are getting paid based on. This is the proof that our attorneys are asking. Hey, MP, you want to get paid, or Arnold, you want to get paid? Show me the proof that you're representing this party. Okay. So your offer letter has to be our offer letter, not your listing agent filling out this offer letter. It should be you. Agency disclosure should be signed way before. As soon as you're putting the offer, your agency disclosure should go with that. You should never submit your offer letter, uh, right? After your agency disclosure, you deem, you do need your co-brokerage agreement, right? So you Thank you. So you do need your co-brokerage agreement, which I'm going to go over with you, right? And then the most important is that so this way a listing agent can go back and change your MLS listing. So how are you going to make sure that it's secure? You want to print that listing out when you're submitting your offer. So this one is tells you clearly who the listing agent is and what is the commission that he's paying to the buyer's agent, right? So there's no ifs and buts on that. So where are you going to get these forms? If you're just going to ljagent.com, you don't want to use the e-signature forms, right? You don't want to use, I'm okay with it. At least have something done, right? Some of you guys are very comfortable with transaction desk and filling out the documents there. Great. But if you're not, simply going to ljagent.com/forms and printing out these forms, write it with the pen if you're not comfortable typing. And for the signatures, just get it wet signatures. Wet signatures and e-signatures are the same thing, but we need to make sure that your clients are signing these documents. So you have your agency disclosure, offer letter, co-brokerage agreement, and your deal sheet. Okay. Deal sheet includes your license numbers, right? Your license number, our company license number, listing agent's license number. Some of you guys do have hard time finding these license number. Ask for help. Hey, I'm about to go under contract. I need a deal sheet. Help me out. Or have our office assistant fill that out. We can do it for you guys, but just don't keep us in the dark. So this way, when the closing time comes, we all look unprofessional. Not you individually, but as us as a company, right? So in 2024, we want to make these changes. We want to make sure that all our agents are on top notch, don't have to question anything at the closing table. Hey, I already dealt with this client for a long time. I took them to the contract. I need to get paid. I need to get paid this much, and this is the proof that's showing me that I need to get paid. If you're comfortable with transaction desk, you should be. Once you're in your transaction itself, this is an example from yesterday's listing here, you want to click on forms. Under forms here, you see exactly the same thing that we mentioned. Your offer letter is called sales agreement. That's your binder. Okay, very straightforward. Tells you how much the price that you're offering. Sellers, your agency disclosure that you're representing this buyer. Co-brokerage agreement that if it's listed for you getting paid 2%, you're sending them this form. Hey, make sure that you're getting paid 2%. Nobody can question that. Okay. Any questions, concerns, anything on your mind, guys? Anyone want to share their experience? All right, guys. So we just want to make sure that you guys are secure. We just don't want to wait on the last minute to do any of this. And it is pretty tough to say that, it is a fact. Out of 10 closings that we do, our agent would come with the commission, but they have no idea about the agency disclosure. And if we have a problem, going back, and the government requires that we as a company here, we hold on to these disclosures for 5 years, right? And you want to get this right, make sure it's written, dated, it's signed by your buyers. If you have multiple people, you want to get it signed by all parties. That's the right thing to do. Okay. Next, guys, doesn't matter which year that you joined LJ, we want you to fast track to 100% commission with 8 deals. Simple rule we have. Let's say you haven't closed any deal yet. You're on level one, or you close few deals and you're on level two, and you want to be on 100%. The day you start closing 8 deals in a whole year, right? Let's say today's December. By next December, you have closed 8 deals. You will be at 100% commission, right? So if you're starting out at level one, you usually need 14 deals if you were in the old plan, or you would never get to 100% if you were on the new plan because you were stuck at 90% at 11 plus closing here. But we made a new rule that I want everyone to understand, that you can achieve 100% commission once you have completed 8 deals in last 12 months. This is the goal that we want everyone to strive for, that hey, I'm going to go for 8 deals next year. Even if you close less than that, it's still better than whatever you closed in 2023. Okay. At level four, your 100% commission, you're only paying $600 per transaction, no percentages. Okay. Any comments, questions, anything on this? Okay. And we want to congratulate Ravi here. He was the agent of our year. He's one of the guys that I see. He doesn't come to our main office here, but he's usually at Sutphin location. There's a cubicle there. He spends his time, majority of his time there. So in 2023, when majority of our agents were on the naysayers, I can't do this, I can't do that. I majority of the time I saw him on the phone, right? Either he's on MLS searching, he's on KV Core searching, and he's just staying connected with his clients. He had closed deals in Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island. This guy was all over the place, right? Just imagine showing some of us complain that, hey, it's just 2 blocks down the road. I got to do a showing there, and just imagine driving to Bronx, going back and forth with one client, paying the toll. I believe $13 for the toll itself. It's a huge commitment to your client when you're doing this. And when you tell your client, hey, I'm really committed to you, and I want to make sure that I can close your deal, it goes a long way, and your client will stick with you. And hopefully we can learn from Ravi. Hopefully we can compete with Ravi next year. We don't want Ravi to be number one next year. We want someone else to be number one. So you have to compete with Ravi. If Ravi got that, he's gonna be number one again. He's gonna go for it, right? So we want you guys to follow Ravi and become Agent of the Year for next year in 2024. Okay. How many deals do you want to wish to close next year? It's all up to you. You guys are 1099, meaning independent contractors, right? There's no way that we can force you guys to close anything. You're happy with closing zero deals because you have a full-time or part-time job. You're making good money. Your life balance is great. Good for you. But if you are hungry and you want to make good commission, set your goals, make more commission next year, close more deals. As we mentioned, interest rates are dropping, more buyers are coming. You don't want to lose out on those buyers, right? And buyers are not loyal even when they come to for the realtors or as loan officers. This is just yesterday's example. One of our client that came through another agent from a different brokerage, and Josh recognized him and said, hey, I think I recognize you. And the guy said, yes, I came here about a year ago, right? So people will not be loyal to you. Just know that. Bring value to them and they might stick with you, right? But set your goal, how many closings you want to do next year, and let's make that happen. Okay. For your credit scores, when you're having a simple conversation with your clients, as a realtor, we don't expect you to know everything inside out about the loan mortgages. But when you're having a conversation, just remember these three credit scores tier levels. If your client has 580 credit scores or above, he or she can get an FHA loan. If their credit score is above 620, they can go with conventional. If they're going to go with no income check loans like DSCR, bank statements, then we need 700. Okay? 580, 620, 700. There's a lot of pros and cons. Talk to our loan officers. We have Talojan on the line. We have Josh. Later on, message them. Hey, I have a question about any of my files, any of my clients. Connect them with our loan officers here. Okay. Open houses, guys, in 2024. Make it a goal that if you're a realtor, you want to invite our loan officer. If you're a loan officer, you want to get the invitation, or you want to tell your realtor that, hey, let me join you, let me spend the time with you. I'm expecting nothing, right? Both of you guys should have the same goal to sell that property, and the loan officer is going to say, hey, I want to get this loan for this property, right? Will it happen all the time? Not necessarily, right? But at the same time, you guys, when you are as a team representing LJ at one of the open house, the client will say, hey, this company has both of these people on at the same open house here. it will make a difference. The client doesn't need to go to another loan officer when you're there to help them out. Okay, so join each other's open house as much as possible. Okay. Newcomers are joining the new teams, but any of our client agents that haven't closed a deal in 2023 and feel like they need that helping hand, join a team. Join purple, gold, or blue team here, hosted by Sheldon, Rupinder, and AP. Join any of them, and they will be that helping hand to close more deals for you. Okay, so that will do it from my end here, guys. Any questions, comments, feedback, guys? All right, guys. Sorry, I was not feeling too well, so I was speaking a little bit slow. So I hope that was okay. But otherwise, if we don't see you guys until next year's Happy New Year to you and your family. Stay blessed, guys. Thank you so much for joining. You guys take care. Yep. Yep. Happy New Year, guys. Take care. Happy New Year, guys. Yep. Happy New Year, guys. Take care.